So North American, the Salmons Financial Group did this study where they kind of looked at about 611 consumers that were studied during this time, and about 36% male and 64% female, and the age ranges from ages 18 through 44, 45 to 64, and ages 65 and up. And so one of the things that really, really caught my attention was that, we want to understand this great wealth transfer. We want to see how financially prepared us as women are, exposing that gap, and see what the key risks are for women when it comes to retirement. And then kind of build that confidence on how a financial professional like me or somebody else can help fill that gap, and what we as women need to know when it comes to wealth and our finances. And so first we wanted to look, like this survey because I wanted to see what they was talking about. So they first looked at the great wealth transfer. And so I'm going to put this up so you all can kind of see it too. So, Dr. T is not making this up, So this is the market data that came up from this study that the Salmons Financial Group did. It shows an incredible wealth transfer taking place in which women are estimated. Look at this. In a few years, that we're going to be estimated to control $34 trillion in the US assets. That's by 2030. And you look at it now, we're currently controlling about $10 trillion. And so, why do we think that's happening? Why do we think that right now that this transfer is coming? Like we getting more assets, we gaining more access, whether it be properties, businesses, stocks, annuities, which is my favorite. Uh, why is it seems to be that women are starting to lead these businesses and close this gap? Like, what are the main reasons for this wealth? And so I like how this is broken down. And so, because we're enrolling more in college and we're graduating more than men are right now. If you see, 39% of women had a bachelor's degree versus 36% of women. This is in the US Census Bureau. You can look this up. Although this is probably from 2022, we can probably even go any further and look at what has been now currently. Women on average live longer than men, about 6 years longer. And we are starting and leading businesses at a phenomenal rate, astronomical rate. And so we're kind of closing those wage gaps in many industries. You see how we grew from 2019 to 2023. And I was actually looking at a study um about a month or so ago, is that how women businesses have just increased right here in Georgia. And it was amazing. and so and also, women are now waiting longer to get married and to have kids because we're more business and career oriented, want to be more stable just in case something happens. So these are some of the things that we're seeing, like we call this transfer of wealth. Um, are women becoming more of the financial planners in the household? Um, who is more responsible for that? Where are we going with this? And so, as we can see, as we continue to grow, is that we're becoming more knowledgeable as far as different ways to produce more income, different ways to diversify our money that we already have so it can continue to grow. We are not just now sitting in the background and letting men control every decision when it comes to financial stability, financial security, which I think is a great thing for us, right? you know, Started to look a little bit more deeper um, into this study, and I want to see, okay, so what are some of the gaps that us women are going to go through? I've already know some. We living out our retirement. Certain things like that. But I said, let me just take a look at this study and see. Read that they found in this study that I thought was definitely on point because I am one of those that believe in this wholeheartedly, that these are some of the things that we are definitely are looking as far as our retirement goals, not even just retirement goals. We talking about just doing it right now. You know, being able to do those things right now while we are working, while we are still um making sure everything is taken care of. And so, but when it comes to retirement planning and preparedness, even with this, there's still a gap for us women. Yes, we're making all this money. Yes, we're starting businesses. Our income has grown, but how financially prepare? I'm sorry, financially prepared us is us for when it's time to we want to slow down because many of us don't like to use the word retire, right? So we want to live comfortably. We don't want to run out of our income. We want to be able for our income to take care of us as long as we live here on this earth, right? And maintain a certain standard of living. What was good for our ancestors years ago is not good for us right now. And so we have a different way of living. We have a different way of maintaining. And we want to make sure that if something was to happen to us, that we're not a burden on someone. And so I want to see how big is this gap? And so we're still falling behind. There's a 6 to 10 point gap exists between females and male consumers when it comes to retirement funds and pensions. That's why, but in the future, now coming more, that we are going to become those financial planners because we're looking more at this budget. We're looking more, okay, how can we do this better? And I like how they broke it down as 8 point gap in annuities, a 5 point gap in life insurance, and then a whopping 15 point gap in total investments. So, how can we bridge that gap? What are some things that we can do to make sure that we as women, while we're celebrating women history, to see what's going on? Because we don't want this to happen. 43% of female retirees in our study reported having less than 250,000 in investments at the time of retirement. Okay, so that's at the time of retirement where they have less than 250,000. So that means that what's going on with the money? We got to look at the money trail right now, right? Let's see where we can pull back on certain things to make sure that we know these key risks that we're going to face that they can be taken care of. Longevity of risk, lower retirement savings, healthcare costs is going to increase the older we get, right? Maybe go through a divorce and lack of confidence in financial plan because we don't know. That's why I try to educate as much as I can when it comes to this. So these are some of the key risks that women face in retirement. It's like how the longevity of the risk. What does that? Okay, Dr. T, what does that mean? That you can outlive more than more than the money you have. That's what it's talking about. As far as market validity as well, and then lower retirement savings. We don't really understand the importance of having more at the in the long run than at the beginning. And so healthcare costs, because healthcare costs can go up. Sometimes people go through a divorce. And then sometimes we're scared, we're fearful when it comes to financial planning. So, what can we consider when it comes to the longevity of risk? There are some things that we need to consider when it comes to that. 80% of men die married, but 80% of women die single. This is according to the Women's Institute for Secure Retirement. And so what can you do when it comes to that? Consider financial products like annuities that provide guaranteed income for life. I just did one for a client today. They started off with $1 million. And so they're going to outlive their money. And they're at the age of 62. So they taking some of their 401k and rolling it over to this annuity so they could protect what they've already built up, protect some of that retirement income. And so by the time they turn age 67, they're going to be able to get that guaranteed life income. I think it was like 108,000 a year. And then after so many years, because then it's go down to about 84,000. But then they'll get that 84,000 for as long as they live. And so that helps us to increase the risk of running out of savings, you know? And so we need to take a look at that right now. But also lower retirement savings. What can we do here? Um, Sometimes we earn less over careers due to the wage gaps, which we know happens. And then we also take time out to like raise our children, care for our elderly. And so sometimes that retirement might be low compared to men, but we can start planning and saving as soon as possible. Like work with someone like me or someone you know that's it. That's knowledgeable, not poo poo, and develop a plan that includes setting aside more funds and tax advantage accounts like an IRA. And you can do that with an annuity as well or 401k. So we need to think of, okay, let me put more over here for later. You know, remember those now laters? Let's save more for later. Let's savor that sweetness that we're gonna have later, right? Okay. So that's then we can look at healthcare costs. We know healthcare, the older you get, the more it's gonna be. And so our healthcare costs and retirement is due to longer life expectancy, excuse me. This includes the potential need for long-term care and which can be a significant financial burden. So what can you do? Include healthcare and long-term care expenses in your retirement plan. Many people forget about that. You can get a long-term care policy. We have those. Sometimes you can even include that in your IRA. We do that with some of our annuity products is where some of that annuity can be taken to fund a long-term care policy. So those are some things that we can put some strategies together to get you ready to go, right? So you can have a peace of mind and not be a burden and also cover those longevity of risk at the same time. Then we go to great divorce. Great divorce is if some people they might find themselves managing their own finances due to divorce or a spouse dying, you know? And so, but on this one, it says this is about divorce. So it can really reduce your retirement savings significantly as assets are divided. And so we start working on this early. And so we ensure that the accounts are properly divided, right? It's crucial to reassess your financial goals after divorce to make sure you're still on track with securing your retirement. So this is very important as well. And so one of the things too is that what I've learned is that many times we're scared to ask questions. I always say, please ask questions. Um, the more you ask questions, the more knowledgeable you can apply it. That's why mine is educate, equip, engage, empower. So in this study that Salmon's Financial Group finished up with, according to the study, women aged 45 to 64 are 87% more likely than age 45 to 64 men to feel uncertain about their retirement needs. So that's kind of in our age range. So they feel uncertain about it. So one of the things that we can do is educate ourselves, that financial literacy. Seminars, we have a lot, we have them here. We haven't started any yet, but we're going to have some here. We also have videos, read books. There's some great books out there. I start recommending some that I read. Um, Also consult with professionals who can guide you through building a solid personalized retirement plan. Ask those questions. Whatever question you have, ask them because it's never a dumb question to me. Professionals, I'm sorry. Seeking some of the things that we do is that we definitely use more of annuities here because many of our clients they like risk, but they don't like a lot of risk. They still want that. They want their money protected. So annuities provide that protection as well as opportunity to still have your money growing at a great rate. And so the key takeaways I took from this survey are these: start early, save more. Um, Start early as soon as possible. And on this particular survey, they says aim to save 15% or more of your income annually. Shoot, I be trying to save between 20 to 25%. And if you are at a company, take full advantage of that employer sponsored 401k or 403b. Right now, consider your healthcare needs and factor long-term care needs in there. That's one of the things we don't. That's one of the things we don't do, or we tend to like put by the wayside. I can say this. My mom, she was prepared. And I thank God for that, that we started early with her and getting some things into place. But long-term care is very important. Um, because we know we're going to have higher medical costs the older we get. Plan for a longer retirement because we're living longer. So make sure you have a mix of savings and investments and guaranteed income sources. And so, we don't know what's going to happen with Social Security right now, but we also have annuities to cover potentially lengthy retirement. So let's look at those. And you can always call me for that. Prepare for the unexpected. Always have a backup plan just in case life takes an unpredictable turn. So so you have to be flexible with your retirement goals. Schedule those meetings. Like everybody should be on the same wave, the same path when it comes to this. And make sure that there's access to joint accounts if something was to happen. And increase your financial confidence by reading books, by studying, um, going to workshops, webinars. There are so many online tools. By talking to me, a financial professional that can help you, because I feel like we got to be more prepared as women because we just don't know what's going on. And ask those questions. So my thing with you as I leave this is that what can I do to help? What are some things that I can do to help you get ready for retirement so we can close that gap, so we can minimize those risks and look at those key things that can happen once we get ready for retirement. So during this Women History Month, this is one of the things I want to talk about is women in health, and closing that gap and becoming um more ready for retirement and more proficient in it as well. Hope you enjoy this. Thank you.